What's up, guys? I'm gonna do a little video on inexpensive semi-automatic rifles. Um, kind of more like the assault rifle type of gun for people that may be looking for home protection, or something if they want to check out their yard or shit hits the fan, whatever. I'm not gonna get into what's best for home protection or anything like that. I'm just giving you some choices for some people that may be new to firearms or may be new to rifles. You might be into handguns. But anyway, I'm probably going to forget a few. I can't remember all the guns out there, but I'm going to cover, you know, uh, what I can remember anyway. Some of the more popular ones. Um, one, uh, one of the main rifle right there. It's Century Arms Wasser 10 AK-47 or AKM variant. Um, you'll hear a lot of controversy on the internet about this firearm. I've never seen it personally in real life. I'm sure it's out there, but the main controversy is cosmetics. You know, um, I've probably got friends that's got upwards of, different friends. My dad, he owns two of them. He owns two Romanians. These are also the Century Arms are also the Romanians. Most of you will catch in that category of the Wasser. Anyway, I've probably seen 30 of them shot. I've probably shot close to that, and every single one of them is ran flawless. I mean, the only time I've ever seen one jam, or any AK jam really, is with drum magazines. I haven't really found those to be real reliable. But anyway, if you check them out, you can get them for about 500 bucks. You may be able to get them cheaper. Um, but for the most part, they're around 500, maybe upwards to that, and you can customize, put like those Tapco 10% stocks or redo the stocks on it. You can make them look good, but you might have to look for magazine wobble. But you can test all that out in the store, and there's videos on it, so you know to look at them. I try to keep this shorter. It's probably going to be a little longer, what I like anyway, so I'm not going to go into each rifle's defects. But this one I haven't had no problem. My dad's, he's never had no problems. As a matter of fact, he needs a new barrel on his one of his Romanians where it's been shot out, where he shot so many rounds through it. That's a good choice you can go to. But an even better choice that I've never owned one. I haven't shot too many of them, but everybody speaks highly of them. Is the Hungarian UMD. It's a Century Arms imports it. It's a tanker's rifle. It's got a collapsible stock on it. It is supposed to be made really tough. That's another good one that's about the same price. Um, then I would say probably one of your cheaper rifles that you can go to where it's limited on magazine count is an SKS. Yugoslavians are good. Chinese, Russians, they're all good. Just check it out. Make sure it hasn't got excessive wear. Um, the only thing bad about that is they kind of jumped up in prices. You used to be able to get them for like 150, or going even cheaper back in the day. Um, but now they're running about 300. They was up to 400 plus, but they've dropped down. But they hold 10 rounds, and that's efficient for your house anyway. More is always better, but I wouldn't go with high capacity or sporterized ones just because I've heard too much bad stuff about them. It's all over the internet. I've heard it from trustworthy sources. So I would just go with the regular wooden stock. I definitely wouldn't mess with the high capacity magazines too much in them. If you need the high capacity, then maybe you should look into other things. Um, I'm not gonna, the Mosin Nagant, it's a cheap rifle. You can get it for about $125, more or less, depending on where you find it and how good shape it's in. I can't, they're good rifles, but I can't really say it's a really good home defense weapon because it's slow. The bolts are hard on them unless you really get lucky. Most of them got semi of a stiff bolt, even when they was brand new made. But they're slow. They only have about 5 rounds. They'll definitely take someone down. But for one, I mean, it's a good hunting rifle. It's a good bolt action rifle, but it's limited to where bolt action is. I think there's a lot better choices. But if all you have is $100, it's worth looking into. I would go shotgun before I would that. Okay. Another good rifle is I've owned one of these before. I own the compact or the pistol version of it. It's the same thing, just shortened, no stock, no barrel. It's the Kel-Tec SU-16 series of guns. I'm not a big fan of Kel-Tec. They're alright. The SU-16 is one of their real good lines. They run about $450, $500, somewhere around that area. They shoot the 223. They're piston operated, something like the AK. They're very reliable. They won't handle steel rounds or steel ammo. The only thing I would put steel ends of Russian guns. They're just made for it. And but any of those models are good. They're exceptionally good. I regret getting rid of mine, but it didn't have a stock on it, and I don't know. When I bought that, I didn't have the money to buy an AK at the time, because they was even the Wassers were running about $750 at all the gun shops around me, and so I bought that because I wanted some kind of high capacity semi-automatic. But anyway, they also come with the pistol version if you wanted that. But then there is also, for the next one of that, you can always go with Ruger Mini 14. That's a good alternative if you're looking for an AR-15 and you want an American rifle. Because with AR-15s, you might find one that's $700, but it'll be a flat top, and by the time you put any kind of optic on it, it's going to be, at least, I wouldn't pay less than $50 for an optic to put on it, and I would put at least $100 into it, because that's your life, that's your sight of your gun. But if you just want to go with optics or irons, that's going to cost you $100 at least, even for the Magpul setup. And it's anyway, you're going to come up to probably close to $100 extra dollars, so that's about $800 you're going to pay for it. And that's kind of where you're set at. I'm not going to go to the $800 range, so because that's kind of in the realm of everything else. But for a Ruger Mini 14, you can get one for about $650, maybe more, maybe less. You do your shopping, you should be able to find one for $650. It shoots a 223. They're pretty reliable. Definitely take one over an AK with a drum any day, because I've seen drums mess up. So if you want to get the drum, or that's your main reason for getting an AK, I would second guess it. Do some research on drum magazines, you'll find out. Now, some you might get lucky and get a good drum, but they're expensive and they're rare. But anyway, it comes with sights on it, 20 round magazines. Tapco magazines are pretty cheap. I get the ones with the metal clasp on the end. You can get them tacticaled out, anything you want. I mean, and they're accurate. You can go plain wood stock. I mean, they're really nice guns. I'm thinking about buying one. And they also have the Mini 30. I'm not really sure on the price of it. I think it's more expensive. It shoots the AK round, but I wouldn't really get that because I heard it doesn't. I heard it's it's not the AK. It doesn't shoot steel ammo like it should. It eats it like everything else does. Sometimes they run it flawless, but it's not as reliable. It expands different. It's harder on the gun. But those are pretty much your main choices if you're going for a reliable, less inexpensive firearm. A semi-automatic rifle. And you can get like a DPMS, or one of the cheaper ones is a Smith & Wesson M&P Sport. It's a AR-15. They go for about $600. It doesn't have a dust cover on it or a shell deflector, and if you really want one, it'll work fine. All that stuff, it's extras. It's good to have, but it's not necessarily needed. Not unless you're going to be in Afghanistan or something like that in the desert, or maybe you live out in the desert. I live down in the desert, I'll probably have it. But you can always, later on down the line, it's going to be reliable anyway. Down the line, you can always buy an upper for like $100 and change it, you know, if you just need something quick. But it'll last you until you get that. Sorry about that. I've seen DPMSs, the flat tops, go for $650, but I kind of did a lot of shopping before I found that. And you could get an optic on it, or for about $7.25 you could have an AR-15 with some Magpul sights on it. Just make sure you know, because you want to get quality sights. Magpul's good sights. A lot, even the Army uses them on a lot of testing guns. And the sights, you know, like the Scars got it on there and everything. I think the ACR, and they hold up, so they got to be pretty good. I've never tried them. I was kind of skeptical about the polymer, plastic, whatever they got, but nobody complains about them really, so they have to be pretty good. But anyway, let's see if I don't really recommend pistol caliber carbines for home defense, because they lack the power. I think you'd be better off with a pistol, especially if you're in the house. Now, if you're outside the house, or that's your main purpose of you wanting the semi-automatic rifle, is you will be able to acquire a target a lot faster and be more accurate with it. That's the only way, if that's what you're looking for, and you want that. Kel-Tec Sub 2000 is a good one. There's a few good ones out there. I'm not going into that. But shotgun will shoot a slug good if you're only looking for 100. If you can't afford some of these, or it's not what you're looking for, a shotgun will shoot a slug 100 yards no problem, accurately. Well, check out your shotgun, you know, before you do it. Make sure it's capable of it. I just thought this video might help some people. Some of y'all gun enthusiasts might seem kind of boring. Thanks for watching, guys.